Alrighty, it's been a few days. I needed a break. And man, it's been way longer than I meant to, partly because I've been putting it off just because I know it's like this might be a very long episode. It's time to do the epilogue. Oh, that's a lot of waypoints. Alright. Let's have our farewell tour. Actually walked past this guy already. Mainly because he's like the least character ever. We just met him.
It is done. The machine has commenced its work. Our future is at hand. Soon, we will claim the rewards we have been promised.
You must be prepared for changes.
Yes. And now the hybrid will bring all of us to the next step of evolution.
No. The hybrid has consumed some berserker mana. He is changing.
Mana? Didn't that poison him?
It has changed him for the sake of all Magalan. Things must change here in the Ice Palace.
But if what you are saying is true, then our future is not predetermined as the hybrid said.
Correct. It is for us to decide our future. Our people will have to change. We must work with all the people on Magalan from now on. This is our only chance in the times to come.
Then we must begin our planning and start the work of rebuilding Zakor. We must ensure that traitor Zardom is given no more chances to interfere with our work.
I will see what can be done to stop Zardom.
I admit, I underestimated your abilities. When I heard you had been executed, I thought that was the end of you. Even when I started to hear news of your survival, I doubted your return. Anyone else in your position would have died, or given up. But what you have accomplished, you will determine the fate of our world. I will assist you in the trials that are to come. Everything for the Alb people.
Everything for the Alb people. Wardak and Zardom betrayed us all.
Wardak was brought down by your frailties. Zardom grew too emotional. He believed in himself before the directive.
There is more to it than that. They worked together to plan this. Zardom only ever had one goal. Your position. The rank of First Elexiter. And Wardak dreamed of creating a dynasty, a legacy for himself. But we are not his children. We weren't even born in Zakor. Wardak took us from the Berserkers as children, and he fought to keep that secret from you.
Then Wardak has been flawed for longer than I thought. And he was right to hide your heritage. I would have doubted your abilities. You have only proved that I was right to doubt you.
I have broken free. You are still the hybrid servant.
Your strength is admirable, but you are so misguided in your aims. That is your weakness.
Huh. He's adapting to the change weirdly, candidly. He's like, oh, I guess this is how this is going now. Even though he thinks that I'm like a corruption, and like I need to be rooted out, and I'm a problem. But he's like weirdly chill about the idea of, wow, even after loading a save, he's still there. I guess saves really keep track of really finite information, or really specific information of he's still just kind of standing in place over there. Oh, the natural ELEX doesn't have the same hype anymore now that the game's basically over. Oh well. Memories.
You saw the hybrid?
Yes. It was a hard fight, but I was victorious.
No, it wasn't.
Any other Alb would have succumbed to his power. You truly are remarkable. But the hybrid's presence can still be felt. What happened?
We will no longer follow him. He will work for us from now on. I contaminated his ELEX source with mana.
And you are seeking to work with the hybrid? The path of mercy. Probably the most complicated of all conceivable outcomes to this war. Do you think this can work?
If not, then the hybrid will have to die.
We will need to keep a close eye on him. We cannot afford for our people to fall under his control again. You were the strongest of us, Jax. You were the turning point in this war. But many of us still see you as a threat and will continue to fight you, which is why I will try to make sure that peace and order reign for our people as quickly as I can. Good work, Commander. The Alb people have you to thank for this new future.
Where's Wardak? Where is my father?
He left shortly after the last time you were here. I thought he would join you in your fight against the hybrid.
No, he didn't.
Well then, I don't know when he'll return.
He will not come back here. He's on the run from Zakor and from me.
Why from you?
He betrayed me.
Well, I have no intel on his whereabouts. He has disappeared.
He will return one day. Of that I'm sure.
I think the reason why we didn't have a choice at the end of the game is probably because they're planning sequels, right? Gothic had 3 games, actually 4 games, but I think the 4th game was made by a different company or something. And then they also made 3 Risen games. So I assume they're planning an ELEX 2 and an ELEX 3, and they probably planned their universes around trilogies or something. So, whoa. I guess they were loading something in. So I think that's why you don't get a choice at the end of this game, and why it just has to end that way. So I think they've just decided the hybrid's too important for the story. Whereas if they were not planning a sequel and this was just a standalone game, then we probably would have had a massively divergent choices, the way that you often do in RPGs at the end of the game, because you're making a big choice that affects the fate of the world and everything. But like instead we got to the hybrid and the game is just like, it just started playing itself kind of. And they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna spare the hybrid, and he's gonna be infected with mana, and he's gonna be working for us now. It's like it had to follow a rail, because they're not only are they I'm almost certainly planning a sequel, but I don't think that they're planning on having like a "we remember your choices" type sequel. I think it's just they're just gonna make the really big choice canonical, going one way and not having variations. Why am I looting these guys? The whole it's just I was talking and the reflex took over. They're both on my left. The reflex totally took over because I've been looting things compulsively for like 90 plus episodes.
Is it over? Were you able to inject the mana into the hybrid?
It is done. Exactly as you wanted. The hybrid will begin a new age. Mana is already changing him.
Then my work has paid off. I was right.
Yes, the hybrid has already started to develop emotions. He will stand by the free people of Magalan now. The Albs, however.
Well, the Albs won't be quick to accept that their time is over. Many of them will continue to bring ELEX north in the hope of reaching the next stage of evolution.
As long as they do that, they will not stop fighting us.
All that counts is that we can now believe in our future. We can make it what we want.
I fear that it will not. The hybrid was gathering ELEX to prepare Magalan for the arrival of another threat to our world. They were responsible for the comet. Now, they are coming to conquer us.
So, that is what motivated him. What else did he tell you of this threat? How much time do we have before they arrive?
He didn't say, but at most, we have only a few years.
Then time will be our enemy. We must begin our preparations. You have shown us that we can overcome challenges if we work together. You will inspire us in the challenges to come. We will need your strength if we are to defend our planet. I hope to be able to stand at your side when the time comes. Look after yourself. We shall meet again, friend.
I kind of fired a planet transforming blob to a different planet in order to sort of infect it. Isn't almost like Zerg creep or something in a way. I like that he's immediately like, all right, well, let's get this shit done. It's like, oh, it's the antithesis of the Mass Effect problem, where in Mass Effect everyone's just like, I don't believe you whenever you come talking about Reapers and stuff like that. In this game, apparently the Reapers are going to arrive at a planet where people actually believed they were coming, or at least Thorold does.
It is said you met the hybrid. Is that true?
Yes.
Then tell me, what news do you have?
Magalan is about to change fundamentally. I contaminated the hybrid with transmuted ELEX. His nature is changing.
None of us will be safe as long as that infernal machine is still alive. I was hoping that his rule of terror over the Albs was finally over.
It is. The hybrid was always the pinnacle of evolution for them. That is over with. He is something else now. From today on, he will strive for balance and justice for all life forms on Magalan.
The hybrid was not the only threat. The Albs remain. armed and a danger to us all. We can only hope that they come to their senses and find a more peaceful path. Our world has much to thank you for. I admit, I did have my doubts with you. But in the end, hope and freedom has come from an unexpected place. I hope you have found enlightenment from amongst this chaos. May Kalan watch over you.
Albright's Resistance. A lot of them just sort of scattered around. Let's go visit Logan, I guess? Not necessarily an optimum way. We also were getting new quests, so that's interesting. Gotta go kill Zardom in the post-credits scene. Might be a very long post-credits area.
I heard you with that infernal machine, the hybrid.
Is that what you heard?
So what did the hybrid say?
He ingested mana. It has changed him.
You managed to pump the hybrid full of that berserker shit?
I guess you could say that.
Either you're full of shit, or worse yet, what you're saying is true and those tree-hugging assholes will come for us. Either way, you're too much of a threat to be left standing. The quicker you say goodbye to this world, the better for all of us.
That's what I thought. I'm like, are we fighting right now? I can beat you, Logan. It's not that hard. Wow, Logan's a prick. He dies in the post-credits. Where'd he land? Logan. Did you go flying absurdly or something? Did he stomp on Logan and make him go flying? Where'd his body go? I think I saw him in the corner of my eye go flying in some direction. I think I might have done another one of those physicsy moments. Oh well. Don't care too much about his loot at this point. It's funny that the character I wasn't... The character I kind of set them into attack and then anyway, it's turning on me now. What a pain in the ass, huh? That guy. Really does feel like Cleric is like the canonical choice of faction in this game. Like, not to imply that there's like only one choice that counts. It's just, it feels like the game's story more heavily emphasizes the idea of you becoming a cleric. Are you hostile? Oh, you're a mutant. Whoops. Geardax? Am I being attacked by... Who the fuck's Geardax?
This doesn't work.
You could just like stop that, please. Alright, I don't know who Geardax is, but he's a prick. All the albs are supposed to be on my team now, aren't they? I was gonna ask that question, like if I go around the map, like is every alb gonna now be friendly, or are they gonna attack me on sight? The answer appears to be that there are still hostile albs, even though I should be friends with both the separatists and the actual real albs at this point. The main force. Oh, that guy's incredibly loudly snoring. I feel like every wild animal in this universe would die the first time I tried to sleep because it'd be so loud that it would attract so many surrounding enemies. Is that Zardom? Oh yeah, it is. I guess I'm gonna fight two people in the same zone today. How close is Zardom? Zardom, you betrayed me. It wasn't very nice of you to do that, Zardom. I'm going to have to very abruptly murder you now. Please stop noticing me. Oh. Well, that's going to be a little annoying. Come and get it, brudda. Yeah, between Thorold being the big guy that the story starts revolving around, and him being a berserker, and then Kaya also being a berserker, and then you finally beating the final encounter with berserker Mana, it's like either that massively diverges if you're other factions, which I don't really think it does, or the berserker just feels like the most important faction in every way, which is probably why they got the most attention and had the most detailed quests and the best environment, and just seems like it feels like resources just ran out for everyone else, and they just weren't that relevant to begin with. I'll take that recipe for some reason. Yeah. I'm going to kill you now.
How did you find me?
I'm starting to understand your plans and habits.
You know my plans?
Yes, but you won't succeed in taking the place of the first Elexiter.
And who will stop me? You. You will learn to fear the mutant force that serves me. If you don't, you will die.
You will pay for your treachery.
Your force of will is a mark of your time as an alb, but that is something we share. I will not give up my ambitions to you, Jax. You have stood in my way for too long.
Zardom does not like that one at all. It's really funny. Ow. Ow, dick. Ow. Anyway, another character dead. We're just going on a farewell tour, and some of these farewells are a little harder than other ones. We're some really, like, definite terminal farewells. Alright, out of the 4 characters I've said goodbye to so far in the epilogue, 2 of them are dead. Jesus. Admittedly, no hard feelings. I mean, no tears shed, I guess? No hard feelings is the wrong thing to call it. Who are you? Go away. You're not even a guy, you're just here for some reason. Weird. There's just randomly one hostile dude, like 5 feet away from a non-hostile dude. Oh, it's Bessa, or the dome. The weirdest part of the game that didn't go anywhere at all.
Go through. It's not like security matters anymore.
Maybe this would have felt like it had more impact if you were there when the rebellion happened and you got to see if you got to see stuff play out. Like if you were there and you saw the crazy things like, oh, and that rebellion, oh, now that development's happening, and oh no, and the shield's failing, and what are we going to do? And a bunch of things started happening. Instead, it's like you just came back one day and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, this is what happened. I'm like, what? After all that build-up and wandering around this place, and it was actually like a nice location. It's probably my favorite town to wander around and meet the characters in and everything. Like it was a cool, well set up little place, and it even has a cool layout. And it's like you can tell where you are. You can tell where you are in this city better than you can in any other city, which probably is partly due to the dome, but also has like landmarks everywhere with like the farm and like the back garden and the different, like the industrial zone and the main building and stuff like that, and the bar and the buildings that people live in. Like this is a good location, but it was all leading up to a battle that was going to happen off camera, and you're just going to hear like, oh, by the way, the battle happened, I guess, and you're like, oh, it's just over now, and like, okay, well, what does that mean for the future of the game? Nothing. This was all a dead end. Like, what?
Who is that?
I just want to talk.
It is not only in Zeko that things are changing. Abessa is now a battleground in this war.
The hybrid is changing. He's ingested mana, and it's altering the way he thinks. He's beginning to work for peace.
So, is the struggle against the Albs over?
Not exactly. Many of them don't yet know what is coming.
Well, I hope that we will be able to see peace soon.
It's just a matter of time.
Good. Then let us make sure we survive until that peace comes to us all. I hope you stay safe out there.
About the secret society you're looking for in the city.
Have you discovered something? The bounty is still to be claimed.
Interesting to know that you can turn them in there. Not what I was really planning on doing. Are Albright and Alois played by the same voice actor? Because I think they are. Which is... Repeat voice actors are not uncommon in general, but it's a little bit of a surprise when the repeat voice actors are from the same... They're both from the... Like, they're both playing... the one actor's playing two characters that are important enough to both be, like, main characters? Not main characters, but, like, top-level characters, whatever you want to call them. Like, leaders of their entire faction type characters. It's my favorite guy who never walks or does anything and just stands here.
There has been news from the Ice Palace. They say that the hybrid is no longer a threat.
You must welcome that news.
I hope that this means an end to all conflicts, and not merely a change of enemy to one of the other factions.
The hybrid isn't dead, but he will serve the free people from now on.
Serve the free people? I find that hard to believe.
He has ingested mana. Exposure to it has changed who he is.
Mana? The ELEX the Berserkers process with their plants. And that has altered the hybrid?
It has made him more aware. He now has a conscience and is capable of empathy.
And the Berserkers came up with this plan. That is quite incredible. That is truly good news. The world will know your name. May Magalan protect you. May your name be honored through the ages.
Oh my god. I didn't know Reinhold's survival. Was it? That's a quest? I didn't even know these were quests half the time. They're going to be in Eden. But he'd never smile again. That was terrifying. I didn't know he even could smile. It's really like uncomfortable. I have no idea what... It's fine. It's fine. It's not important. I didn't know that character could smile ever. It was really surprising. Alright, let's go talk to William about how he killed his brother a moment ago. I'm sure he'll be in a good mood, and I'm definitely not going to go fight him now. Whoops. Dudes running around. I think those are merchants or something. I should probably switch to daytime, so characters will not be just sleeping in their beds every time I arrive at them while I'm doing this. Any beds nearby? Not in there. I have a house somewhere, but I've never visited it again, because why would I? I don't think I really have a reason to.
Hey, you. We have to talk.
What do you want?
There's a rumor going around that you were with the hybrid in the Ice Palace. It's a stubborn rumor. Those sorts of things often turn out to be true.
Is it true?
If there's any truth to it. And I'd be surprised if a man who killed the hybrid didn't start to get other ideas about who on Magalan they would overthrow.
The hybrid was contaminated with mana. He's working for all of us now. Even you.
Mana? You're feeding it the Berserker's magic? Can you trust it? I mean, that thing was crazy without cramming it with that stuff.
You're going to have to live with it.
I'm thinking I don't have to live with anything. I'm thinking it would be safer if you didn't leave this place alive. Hey, you've broken the codes of the fort and you must face punishment. Either pay a fine or face the consequences.
You're not punishing me.
So, you're challenging me? For this count, I'll forbid all the merchants in the city from trading with you until you've made payment. Now get out there before I think of something worse. I will kill you!
What the fuck? What the fuck is happening? First of all, it's really funny, like, hey, you've broken the law. It's like, you said you were gonna kill me already. What? But also, now he's like, what? He sees me as the enemy of the fort, obviously. Yeah, sure. I killed your entire leader. Did they not make dialogue for William about you having killed his brother? Is that what happened here? So instead of having him acknowledge that you killed his brother, he's just like, you've broken our laws, you better pay shards. And he's gonna kill you for killing his brother because of that? Because what was the crime of me murdering William Logan reported or something? Is that what's going on here? bizarre. But then he's like, those stubborn rumors turn out to tend to be true. And then my character says, is it true? If there's some truth to it. What the fuck is that dialogue? That sequence of lines made no sense. Is it true? It's true if it's true, I guess. If it's true. Truth is true. Did you hear that truth is sometimes true when it's true? I'm like, what? I started a fight. Yeah, fuck you with that interpretation of history. But I guess maybe canonically the idea is that... Maybe the idea canonically is that it's saying I started a fight because that guy has control of the situation and he's declaring me as being the aggressor. Either way, we should probably leave. What a prick. Is there anything I can steal from his house? I don't like that guy. Ew, boring stuff. Why is William so boring? Wasn't... Am I remembering correctly, Logan was like his brother or his sibling or something, right? Or a sibling or a cousin? I think they were like closely related, so like he should... It's actually weird that me fighting Logan to the death didn't affect his dialogue. I just stepped on a mine over there. I just want to get out of town before I open my map in case I got attacked. Am I still at like a 50-50 rate so far of killing or not killing every single person I meet? I think I am. I think every person... Yeah. Because I met 2 people at the Ice Palace that survived. I met 2 people in outside the Ice Palace that both got killed. Then I met someone in Abessa who lived. Then I met someone in Tavar who died. Oh no, I have one... No, there's also Ignadon. So we have... So far, one more person has survived than has died. I went the wrong way. People are dying at an alarming rate in this farewell tour. And only one of them was somebody I was there to kill.
I've heard that the Ice Palace has been attacked. And that you were behind that.
Yes.
That is good news for all of Magalan. And what of the hybrid?
The hybrid lives. He spoke to me and was prepared to negotiate. The Pilgrim's plan to use mana worked. The mana is changing the hybrid. He's developing feelings. He's now prepared to negotiate with the free people. You can find a way to work together.
So it's true. That's more than we could have hoped for. Now we can live in freedom. Thanks to you. The Berserkers are in your debt. Your name will be spoken as we return Magalan to the world it was. The fact that you are one of us fills me with pride. May your name be honored everywhere.
That sounded like a lot of compliments. Let's see how long it lasts when I do this.
You shouldn't rely on machines.
That's what I thought. Prick. Also, I heard that the Ice Palace was attacked. Aren't you like one of the main leaders of the entire Berserker faction and Berserkers were there in the attack? How detached are you from the important going-ons of the world if you were so detached that you heard it like it was a rumor? What? Even the Berserkers kind of suck. They're just sitting around and not even bothering to do anything during the most important event of the game.
The reports from Zakor are pretty confused. Can you tell us what's going on?
The hybrid lives, but the balance of power has shifted. The hybrid will work with the free people. He will help us change the future.
You want me to believe that the Albs will agree to get friendly and help us? The Albs are still patrolling. I saw them only a few hours ago.
Yes, and you should cease your resistance to their plans. Only the hybrid and his chosen can survive what is to come. You should look to the defenses of this place. They will be needed in the storm to come.
What storm? Who are we fighting now?
The hybrid has evolved beyond any of us. His abilities have foreseen a danger that threatens us all.
And you believe him?
Yes. You chose me to lead the people here in Origin. Now, you must follow my decision.
Well, that's not terrifying at all. But I suppose I don't have any choice but to roll with it. And I've got to say, I knew you were the one to make sense of all this. I saw it. I saw it before all the others. Origin was founded to provide you with a base. So, know that we stand with you in the storm to come.
Do you have any more news?
The Alps seem to be reducing their activity in Tavar and Edan. But there are Alp fighting machines reported in Abessa and Ignadon. We must remain vigilant.
Analyzing. Status is optimal.
You're a loyal companion. It's good to have you here, you four. Follow me.
We are all in and relying really heavily on the idea that the hybrid's not just a raving lunatic, in which case this is, whoo boy, the sequel's gonna be real awkward when they find out that he didn't know what he was talking about and that the aliens never existed, and then we just have to come up with something else to care about for an entire game.
We'll talk later. What if I say the Duke?
Yeah, whatever. Let's get on with it.
He's dead.
As long as you know the shit you've walked into. So, you actually did it. Is that Alp freak finally gone?
No. The hybrid is still alive. He surrendered to me.
You had it at your mercy. Why didn't you just kill the damn thing? Well, I guess you're built out of tougher stuff than the Duke. Shit. Whatever this god does for them, it certainly helps these clerics fight. You'd almost think they were outlaws. There must be more of those fuckers out there somewhere.
What? Wait, I think like 4 conversations just happened that were all layered, and they were just all, they were supposed to trigger after things happen in this game, and they were all just seamlessly, well, not seamlessly, they were all just like getting jammed back to back with each other, like just bizarrely. That was a weird conversation.
It's remarkable what one person can achieve. You defeated the hybrid. The fact you taught it emotion is fascinating. It will be interesting to see what happens next. With their common enemy gone, will the factions unite? What will the hybrid become? I'm intrigued to find out. But what happens next? You're now part of Magalan's great history. There is still so much to discover. Now that the war is over, it should be much easier for us to explore and gather that data.
You're doing well, I see. What about the hybrid?
I convinced him to change his mind. I think he will work with the people of Magalan now, rather than try to destroy them. He could be a force for good.
Then Thorold was right all along. Who'd have known? Well, it's over now. It is for us to decide the future. We must take this chance.
How are you?
Life is good. I like being here with you. You know that I love you, right?
Yes.
It's strange to say it, but an Alb is the only person I know who can understand me. It's almost stranger than what we've learned about the ELEX.
You know that I love you, right? Yes. Dialogue. The dialogue of ELEX.
I have to get my thoughts together.
Alright, game's literally over now, and you still... That's just what you are forever, huh? Alright, goodbye forever. Oh yeah, it's you! I keep forgetting you exist. I did his companion quest before I even had a second companion, didn't I? That's how quickly it was over with. And then I just never had him again, and he never came up in the story again, and he just... He's Duras. He sits in that spot and drinks. That's his life. Oh, now he's standing.
From a lost sheep to a wolf. You defeated the hybrid. And now you've climbed so far. What will you do now? Will you let the free people live in peace?
Yes. The hybrid will help us bring the remaining Alps into line.
Your courage has brought the world to this place. Magalan owes you. I bow my head in thanks on behalf of all free people.
He does add to the top of the pile, on top of Kaya and Thorold being so important to the story, and both Berserkers, and the Berserkers being the solution to the hybrid problem. The first NPC you meet that guides you through the game and becomes your first companion is also, albeit forgettable, another Berserker. The game really is, like, leans heavy on Berserker.
So, you did it. You did do it, right?
Yes. I defeated the hybrid. Yes, I changed the hybrid. But it will take some time before he truly accepts his new role as protector of Magalan.
I don't know why, but from the first moment I saw you, I knew you could do it.
You did?
Yeah, okay. Well, to be completely honest, when I saw you for the first time, I thought, who the fuck is this asshole? But, you know, you turned out to be okay. You haven't just decided the war. You've looked out for the little people, too. People can say what they want, but I think you're okay.
That's good to know.
Best compliment you're gonna get from me, asshole.
Commander Jax's story, the war ended, but an even bigger struggle would follow, and everybody who took part in it wrote his very own story. Duras, courageous and honorable, Duras took the opportunity that Goliath had given him. He dedicated himself to a life of service, fighting for the weak. Though through understanding and justice, Duras escaped punishment. Life gave him the second chance that he himself had granted to others. Ragnar was satisfied with Askor's murderer, that Askor's murderer had escaped. The case was closed and Duras free to go on with his life. The Domed City. Alois, the vice-regent of the Domed City of Abessa, fought wars throughout his lifetime. He often felt as if he would never find peace. It was when he took control of the Domed City that he found, if not peace, at least purpose. He understood the power did not lead to popularity and that he would have to make hard choices. Many had already predicted the destruction of the Domed City, many had planned it, but in the end, the clerics were able to overcome all those who sought destruction and save their city. Alois ruled the Domed City until his strength gave out and he died of old age. We're going really far in with some of these people, unless he was dying like next year. Falk. So it was that Falk retired away from interacting with people, protecting himself from loss, as he wrote up the things he had learned. And okay, an advanced AI in a humanoid shell, Falk was conceived as a combat robot, and his creator focused more on his inquiring mind. Why didn't you voice any of this, or let me do A to continue? Seeing the strength of his companions, Falk found many friends. This was to become a cause of great sadness as he lived on and his mortal companions aged and died. Jax, the former loyal Alb commander, joined the Berserkers. Here he found new strength, support, and allies. The skills he learned would assist him in his... What? Warlord Ragnar remained steadfast until the end, defending Eden against his enemies and growing Magalan with the world hearts. Conrad. In his heart, Conrad has always remained a cleric. Big Bang was not the bomb he had promised, but a combat robot he planned to unleash against the outlaws. I know. I did that. That's it, Tarek. The appearance of the hybrid seemed to be the primary reason why the Alexiters achieved supremacy in the Ice Palace. According to the rumors, the first Alexiter Tarek followed the directive only by the order of the hybrid after the Alexiters assumed control of the Ice Palace only. Despite the many disagreements of the Ice Palace, only a few doubted that Zakor should rule over Magalan. This was not the end of the conflict in Zakor, and many elves would die before the last of them accepted the restructuring of the Ice Palace. It was that big of a deal? Like, nobody was reacting. Arcs. At first glance, a failed existence who had been spat out of the Ice Palace. However, there was a great deal of intelligence and strength in his deeds. Perhaps, strange as it seems, Arcs really did find inspiration and insight in his cannibalistic feast. Whatever the cause, it was this moment that saw him change. After completing the greatest work of art he'd ever created, the cannibal Arcs was executed. Okay. Goodbye. Magalan was freed from one of its worst diseases, but also from one of the most ingenious, creative minds that it ever brought forth. Why was he so creative? He didn't do shit. Albright, supreme judicator and leader of the clerics in the Cathedral of the Horde of Ignadon. Why is this not press A to continue? I don't get that. Albright was dedicated solely to eliminating the Alb converters from Magalan. Is that why he didn't do it at all, and I did all the work? Because I did all the work. I did all of them. The Battle of Ignadon was more than just a conflict over the Horde, the stronghold of the clerics. It was a fight for the future of all of Magalan. Thorold, even though he was the spiritual leader of the Berserkers, Thorold lived in a withdrawn life, separate from his people. Having confided the law of the Berserkers and accumulated great knowledge about the nature of ELEX, Thorold wielded power over Idan. Even after the failure of his ELEX experiment, Thorold continued to fight for all the free people of Magalan. With Jax's help, Thorold's bold plan worked. The hybrid was stopped, and the terrible slaughter of the free people in the Alp Converters finally came to an end. I thought they were supposed to be like post-credits explanations of what happens next. William continued to be in charge no he didn't, of the day-to-day business of the outlaws in the Fort of Tavar until the end of the war. No, he's dead. I killed him just now. God damn it. His decision at the Palace means William has declared Jax to be an enemy of all outlaws. The fort will be even more dangerous of a place for him now. I killed him. He's dead. Unless he was unconscious or something? Logan. Take control of the fort after a long planned assault. The Duke shared responsibility with his sister Nasty and cousin William. No, he's dead. He's dead. Power and profit is all that drove him. Having taken control of Tavar, Logan would let no one take it from him. The Duke could not agree with Jax's decision to work with the hybrid, prohibiting his entry into Tavar on pain of death. You're dead. You died. I killed you. Ruthless, hated, feared, perhaps Tavar would needed a man of Logan's talents to hold it together, but whatever Logan's influence in life, his few mourned his death. Okay, it did acknowledge his death. Crony U4. Like all machines, a drone is nothing more than a common basic commodity to many, but if you ask its owner, the situation is often very different. After its systems were fully restored, this Alb drone followed Jax into the lands of the Free People, serving at its side of its master wherever he went. It is uncertain how much of the unit's original programming was intact. It seems certain that, free of patches from Zakor, many of its operating parameters were self-written. Sestak. The Separatists committed themselves to the fight against the Ice Palace, fighting shoulder to shoulder with the Free People. Only time would tell if the Separatists would continue this alliance once the war was over. Also, why did we suddenly remember that having subtitles on the bottom of the screen is good? It took them the end of the game to finally realize that. Nasty, a strong fighter in her own right, Nasty found that in the chauvinistic world of the fort, her skills were overlooked. She was sidelined until an outsider recognized that Nasty had masterminded the Duke's assault on the fort. From poverty in the deep desert of Tavar, Nasty had risen to power. Learning she had fatal illness, Nasty took on dangerous challenges in the hope of finding meaning. Jax recognized her need and offered her a different path. Her strict gaze, his strict gaze watched over the horde of Ignadon. Reinhold was committed to preserving the cause of the clerics. Holding firm to the law of Kalan, Reinhold saw faith as a shield that would protect all who lived in Magalan. The war against the Albs had been a real strain on Reinhold. It was a measure of the man he had lived through. It was a measure of the man that he had lived through the end of the war. Calax. The story of the divided brothers ended amongst the snowy summits of northern Abessa. Most of these things are just saying what already happened. They're not even like actually telling me what happens after the story, which I thought was the point. In the end, both lost Jax, his brother, and Calax, his life. Kaya, a loner, mistreated by those who held her in their care, feared by others for her powers. Kaya had every reason to reject people. Kaya's knowledge of ELEX grew over time. She was able to align herself closer to it, gaining powers as she did. It's not hard. You just press A to continue as the requirement. Damn it. Her important role in the war against the Albs became more and more clear, since she was the only one who understood the true nature of ELEX. In Jax, she found more than a shared mind. She found love. Zardom. Jax agreed to follow Zardom's plan for battle in the hope of getting closer to the Ice Palace and Zardom's assistance. However, Zardom's betrayal of Jax would turn them into archenemies in the end. The failure of Thorold's ELEX experiment appeared to have been caused by Zardom. His appearance directly after the explosion seemed more than coincidence. Jax saw to it that Zardom paid for his betrayal. Zardom's body was never found. The story has it that Zardom's body was torn to pieces by his own creatures. Ray managed to evade the bounty hunters who were after him. He needed help, but once again it seemed that nothing could stop this outlaw. Except for the giant fiery explosion he seemingly died in. Knowing that he had shot Jax's raider down, Ray felt responsible for everything that had befallen Jax since the crash. Since his brother was saved, Ray's feeling of responsibility for the rest of the free people strengthened. He became completely committed to the war against the Alps. Sacrificing his life instead of Jax's, Ray opened the way to the Ice Palace. His story would be told for years to come. Wardek. Committed to Zakor and the future of the Alps, Wardek's ambition was rewarded. He rose to the highest ranks and his family became one of the most powerful dynasties in Zakor's history. Loyal, respected, father of Jackson Calyx, two of Zakor's most trusted Alb commanders, Wardek's defection to the Separatists was both sudden and unexpected. After betraying his sons, Wardek fled to the mountains in the hope of escaping retribution. The power he had wanted was gone, his dreams of succession gone. He would disappear into history, forgotten. Having explored parts of Magalan, after exploring parts of Magalan that he'd only ever seen from the cockpit of a raider, Jax had met those that had recently been his mortal enemies. Jax had found a way to cooperate with the hybrid. Would this secure Magalan's future or doom all those who had followed him? Jax's quest to discover his past now stood him in a place where he could change the future for all of Magalan. A few years later, Magalan would enter a new era. They don't change the time these are open at all, but the lines are massively different in length. Ah, we're back. We're playing the video game again. I hope you enjoyed that. The floundering, shouting mess that was. Like 10 plus minutes of me just kind of being exasperated. Alright. Did that even... I'm trying to think of how many of the cards they told us about even gave us new information. Because most of them basically just said what happened during the game itself and then revealed zero additional information, like explaining Nasty's story. Like, we were there. We know what Nasty's story was. It was, Falk is revealed to isolate himself from humans, and the guy from, the Alois from Abessa, is revealed as being the guy who, he apparently died of old age, which, I mean, whoa. That was weird. I went flying. I don't know what's going... but most of the people is just recapping how the story ended and not actually adding any new information, which is weird and redundant. And I'm confused because Alois... It says that Alois died of old age and Falk isolated himself from humans because they kept aging and dying. And I'm like, what? How far into the future is that post-credits scene going? Isn't there supposed to be a sequel at some point? I guess they just made sure that Falk can't be in the sequel because he's isolated himself from humans forever. And does like the sequel happen after Alois dies of old age, or is that just like a weird, or are we gonna come back in the next game and Alois is still gonna be here and we're gonna be like, oh well, I know he dies of old age, so the previous game spoiled it in the post-credits. It's just weird. Weird epilogue chapter. Amusing to kill off a few characters. I guess the entire entirety of Tavar hates me. Let's quick save real quick. Will everyone here attack me on sight? Worth wondering about, right? Howdy, y'all. You've been seen committing a murder. They decide that I'm not welcome under punishment of death. I can take care of that for them. Oh, he's stunned. He can't die. They're dead, though. Yeah, those guys are all dead. The master can't die. How you guys feeling? Do you guys attack? I'm the king of Tavar now.